Hey, quick context and updates. One, right now I'm working on the poster for the CVP or 4D Vision workshop. Really excited for that. Tricky thing is, I shouldn't be working on the poster at this time. I should already be good to go, but it's not because the tricky thing with these posters is one, you have to make sure you have a well designed poster that has all the how it has all the accurate information about your work, but you have to actually print it as well, right? So originally I was trying to get May 29th to be my deadline for when the poster is ready, and if that was the case, I could just print it, and then when I get to Denver, they'll give me my poster. But because I missed that deadline, I have to now print it by myself. So I have to go find like a post office or a printing place near me and print it there. So it's a bit more tricky, but so far I found a couple options. So there's one called like Miniman Press, which is right next door. So I think that shouldn't be too much of an issue if I'm able to finish it tonight. Right, that's one. But two, if I'm not able to finish it tonight, I found some in Denver, and hopefully they're able to print the exact size I need and the exact quality I need. Overall, though, as much as I'm not happy with the current situation in terms of like the deadlines I put myself in, I am happy that I've made some accomplishments with the work. So originally, when I was wrapping up this work and submitted to the conference, I was fairly confident that this was like, oh, something new, and that was just a bad that was bad on my part because I actually hadn't fully gone. I didn't properly understand some papers in the my literature review, particularly Fitz Gaussian, who had done physics and Butte Gaussians as well. So it was a tricky thing where it's like there's some distinguishments between myself and Fitz Gaussian, right? What they're doing, but there weren't enough for me to completely go to the conference and say, "Hey, this is something I'm doing. I want to extract new insights for the new work I'm doing." So then I spent the last couple of days really working to further the work to stuff I already planned to do. Like I wanted the I wanted the substrate to be able to work with thermodynamics. So that's what I've been working on for the past couple of days. Thank God it's finally working, which as far as I know, keywords, as far as I know, Star Labs is one of the only groups to really have physics and Butte Gaussians that can deform or be changed by thermodynamics. To some degree, like there's people who do thermodynamics for visual stuff, like oh the colors change, but like in terms of actually deforming or changing the stiffness, that's something Star Labs has done only. So exciting time. So I'm really happy to present that at the conference, but I do have to make sure I can visualize that properly for the poster, which is another tricky thing because this really is a computer graphics conference, work, and because of that, it's a very visual poster. So I have to make sure I can visually appeal or visually convey the impressiveness of the work, which is a bit tricky because like it's a very ragtag environment I've been testing my stuff in terms of stress testing. I'm like, oh, how does it deform under this, or how does it deform given this impact or this action? So it's a bit tricky because I'm vibe coding a lot of the actions that happen to the substrate. But then now it's becoming a bit tricky in terms of like I want to show this particular capability and it's not working the best. One because the environment I'm even testing it isn't like the best in itself, but also um the for the substrate, it's a substrate, right? But then we have to actually attach the when I say we Star Labs, like for this substrate, you have to attach it to an actual object. So take this iPad for example. Now we have a substrate. We have to have the substrate match the object itself, the shape of the object, and the I don't really have objects to match in terms of like the actual train Gaussian scene. So I've had to take one from Fizz Gaussian, which is a competitor, but like I had to take one from them. And then there's a ShapeNet database where it has some objects. The tricky thing with the ShapeNet database and what makes it different from Fizz Gaussian is that Fizz Gaussian actually particularly trains their 3D Gaussian scenes to be able to handle stuff like deformations under continuum mechanics. Because if you're bending too much, then certain strains become way too tight and just makes some deformities, for lack of better words. Um, which doesn't look the best. Like it's still physically accurate to a degree, but just doesn't look the most appealing. So the only object I can really use to visually convey the stuff I've done is from Fizz Gaussian, and they only have a ficus tree. The only thing they have available to the general public is a ficus tree. So I had to like show all the capabilities of my work with a ficus tree. And the reason why I can't just make my own 3D Gaussian scenes is one, it takes a while, and two, I didn't. My work is more substrate first. I didn't really think of it from the sense of reconstruction or recreation of a scene. So then that's something I didn't build for and it's not worth building now. So I think I'm just gonna try and I think I'm just gonna focus on using the faculty and make it seem intentional to just show, oh, taking this simple object, we can do all these things. Hopefully it makes sense. But Overall, I'm excited. Good work has been done, particularly the thermodynamics. Like, it's really awesome to see, to really treat like that factor street as a piece of wax and actually see it melt in real time. I can imagine like the actual implications or the actual applications later down the line for the whole world model idea. But I do think I'm interested in the post conference, in that when I don't have a deadline, I can actually explore on going back and doing certain things, and building a stronger foundation. Like I was at the beach, how much time do I have left? I was at the beach today, and I was kicking around the sounds like, bro, this is not something my substrate North Face Guardian would properly handle. Like to be able to really recreate the exact same nature of myself kicking the sand, right? I think that's something I have to really think about. Like I'm not just building this as a homework assignment, I'm building this to scale. So how can I really scale? I think another aspect is like is even the way the math is computed, and that's going like much more low level. So that's something I'm definitely interested about, or definitely interested in getting someone to look into. Um, but I think post conference, what I might do is I'll probably look around to see if I can build a stronger foundation for a bit, but then I'll dedicate the rest of my time to really just scaling, speeding up the whole learning of aspect of it, because I don't think I need to really build the strongest foundation. I just have to really get a proof of concept. I think after a proof of concept exists, then it shows that the idea does work to some degree, and then from there we can go revisit like the foundation and say, hey, okay, now we know this has some promise. Let's really strengthen this foundation, let's scale it up and all that. And you see me something I can show investors, something I can show people to come join the lab. Like, hey, this is something that's going on. Overall, though, excited. Last couple of tidbits I want to share. I realized CVPR is really kind of like Nesbit in terms of the networking aspect and the company aspect of the exhibitors. So I think I'm much more comfortable now, because I was really worried like I was gonna be way out of my zone. But really, if it's like Nesbit, it's pretty much just like making sure you do your research beforehand. Even now, I've connected with all the companies I'm interested in exhibiting at the conference. I've seen who's presenting at the booths. I've connected with all of them on LinkedIn. I've sent to connect to all of them on LinkedIn. Some of them have connected back with me, so I'm going to try and start DMing them tomorrow and just see if I can set up some connections. Maybe see, oh, hey, can we meet outside of the conference, or maybe just like make my face recognizable, so when they see me, it's like, okay, what's up? Another aspect I'm worried about, both excited about, is that I'm a sophomore, or I'm a rising junior undergrad going into this conference as an independent researcher. So that may show some promise. That may show come off negatively on my part, but I'm interested to see how I can play that to my advantage, because maybe they're seeing a lot of grad students and they're seeing a lot of PhD students, and that's who they're interested in largely. But then if they see like someone just like, oh, he's starting kind of early, relatively early. There's people who've been doing this since high school, to be fair, but like he's doing this, maybe that shows some promise on his part, and his work seems relevant to what we're doing. It does seem like a good fit for the lab. So that's something I'm really hoping to see how I can play to my advantage. But overall, that's where my head is at. That's where my mind is at. That's where my hands are at. But yeah, besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.